everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be showing you how I made my Jinx cosplay from League of Legends. This is specifically the Arcane version, so Arcane is the League of Legends TV show which you can watch on Netflix. I really love the show and this cosplay definitely holds a special place in my heart because I entered it into my first ever cosplay masquerade and I won first place. I was so over the moon to win, and I have actually included in the description a video of my full performance if you'd like to see that. It's also linked in the eye right now, so be sure to check that video out too. Jinx is one of my cosplays that I am forever upgrading, so things that are in this video might not look the same as the ones that I've posted on my Instagram recently. It is because it's ever evolving, so please keep that in mind. This is a very simple tutorial, so please be sure to stick around and I hope you enjoy. So I'm going to be starting off by cutting out the fabric and the pattern. So I'm going to pin the patterns into place, but I'm using these little clips. The reason I'm doing this is because of the pleather material. Pleather and fake leather, vinyl, anything like that has a tendency to kind of peel and crumble off. So I really don't want to put pins in the fabric because it can just speed up this process and make little holes, which I really don't want. So I'm just carefully pinning it with these clips and then I'm cutting it out. Once I've cut out all of the pieces, I am running it through my sewing machine. You can see that the foot on my sewing machine looks a bit weird, and that is because I've put a roller foot on. You can buy these really cheaply on Amazon. I think mine was about £3. Just make sure it matches up to your machine and everything. And this just helps the needle glide on the fabric. With leathery fabrics and thicker, heavier duty fabrics, even though this is a heavy duty sewing machine, it does have a tendency to get stuck in the teeth, so that's why I always recommend to use a roller foot, because you don't want to break loads of needles. So I've actually edited this a lot. It is not the same as the pattern that was provided, so I'm going to tell you what exactly I changed on this and how you can do the same and what I'm about to change. So this pattern, it was very, very nice, but it was a little bit off in some places. So on the instructions of the pattern, it is shown that you are meant to cut out 2 panels like this, and if you did this you would just have like a big seam in the middle. So I just decided to cut that on the fold and have one big front panel to be more accurate to Jinx's top. There are some details missing, like Jinx's top in the show Arcane actually has like a back halter as well. That wasn't included in the pattern, unfortunately, but I don't really think it matters, so I'm just going to keep it like this. I don't think anyone's going to be staring at my back, so we will not include that. Another thing just to note, and I don't think the seller actually realizes this, so I'm going to let them know, but the sizes seem to be ever so slightly off. So I measured myself as a medium, which is the size 8 pattern because they're Canadian sizes, and I printed them out and I could just see it was going to be a little bit on the small side at the front. So this big piece was actually the size 14, and then everything else is just the size 8. The other thing I changed was this neck strap. So on the pattern, the neck strap, actually I've got one to show you. The neck strap was only this long, and it was all different sizes. Like I actually tried one from the size 14 which ended up shorter than this. This is the size 8 one. I ended up just making one of myself. I meant to sew this like in half to make it a bit thinner, but I haven't got around to doing that yet because I took in the sides from here. Because it was the size 14, obviously there was a little bit of extra spacing around my arms, so I took this in with a bigger seam allowance than I normally would. So if I show you on this one, you can see that this is the original stitch, so it was meant to just be a straight stitch like this. It didn't really fit me well, so I just put like a stitch here, and I did exactly the same on the other side, and that helped out a lot. What I'm also going to do, which isn't here, is I'm going to change the back of this to a zip. I just think it will be easier to get on and off. And what I am going to be changing about this, because this is currently too long for my neck, it dangles off, I am going to just cut this in half and then add a button attachment and then I can just do it up on the day. As for these belt loops, I'm just going to be attaching them on by hand. I'll probably like tuck them under here. We'll see what looks best, but they're going to be sewn on by hand regardless. Now what I'm doing is I've made a buttonhole by sewing where I want it, and I'm just going to be sewing the button onto the other side of the neck loop. Once the button is secure, I'm using my unpicker to slice a hole in the other side. So I've already sewn around the buttonhole and I'm just opening it up. Then I'm just testing to see that the hole is big enough, and once I'm happy with it, I just snip the ends off. Now this next part, I actually forgot to record all of it, but these are some, I think they're called grommets, I really don't know. And you make a hole where you want them to go, so you really crudely cut these holes, if anything leave them a little bit small, and then you put them within each other. Now grommets and eyelets, usually they come with like a tool that you hammer them down with so you don't hurt yourself. This one didn't come with that, which is why my stepdad did it for me. He just used a hammer and you just literally hammer it down. It's very fiddly, but it works. In this clip you can see me staining a white sock with green tea. The reason why I'm using a sock is because I lost the other one and now I'm left with one sock. So instead of getting some white material, I'm just reusing this old sock. You dip it in and out of the tea so many times until it looks really dirty. You want it to kind of look aged. So this sock is actually going to be the cross in Jinx's top. I just hand sewed it into place. Once you have it how you like, you leave it to dry, and then I'm using this belt and I'm just painting the end of the belt with this golden paint. And this is the finished Jinx top. So you can see the sock in all its glory on the front of there, and the thin belt just goes afterwards. Now for Jinx's trousers, this is super duper simple. I basically purchased some purple trousers in the colour that I wanted. So I'm going for the plum stripes and I will be painting on the light pink stripes. So what you do is you tape down, leave enough gap, and then you masking tape the stripes. As you can see, I'm using a pink fabric spray paint, which I didn't even know existed up until I was making this video, and I'm just spraying the whole thing. Now you can see how it's leaving like little blobs as it goes. It's not exactly very even. For any other cosplay I would have been worried, but however Jinx is a very messy character, so I feel like this really added to her look. If anything, I would recommend deliberately messing them up a little bit, because it's kind of meant to look like she's all rugged and running rough, you know what I mean. So it really adds to what she looks like. Now I'm just peeling the masking tape off. This was my favourite bit of the entire cosplay. I really love peeling tape. I don't know why. It was just so satisfying for me. So you can see me making these really cool stripes, and look how well it did. Now I'm using gold fabric paint to just go on the edges of all of these stripes that I've made. So you're going to try and keep them thin, but inevitably they will become a little bit thicker. This also works. She, like I said before, she's a messy character. So now I've marked out on me where I want the trousers to end, and I am just cutting them off because she kind of has them just below her knee. And then I'm just roughly zigzagging them. Kind of think how like a pirate's trousers are, but not as neat. So literally, like, I'm being too careful here. Literally just rip them off. The messier the better. And that is the finished trousers, and they look so good on. I really like them. Now with the leftover pieces from her trousers where you've snipped them off, turn them inside out, and then I just cut these seams off one of the end. So we're going to be using it inside out, and you want kind of the roughness of the seams to be showing. So then what I'm doing is I am taking more masking tape and doing exactly the same as before with just this piece. And then I sprayed the whole thing with the remainder of the fabric spray paint. This was running out at this point, but it actually was perfect because it really made it look super cool, I thought. The splotchiness. And it looks way more patchy than it is, because you're going to see when I peel it off it's not even like that bad. So like here I'm just cutting it off because it got stuck. Then as I peel them you can see how it's faded, but it still really gives the look. With this one you don't need to do the gold, you're just going to measure it onto your arm and then you're going to sew it really roughly. So I'm just cutting off the extra bit. You're going to use one leftover leg for the long part, and then you're going to kind of roll the other one up as if it were a rolled up sock. And here is the finished result. For Jinx's other black arm things, I have cut the ends off of 2 lycra socks, grey ones, and then I've put everything together like this. So you can see how everything is meant to be stacked onto each other. She does actually have some upper arm belts as well, but I haven't made them at this point. And that's how she looks. Now for her shoes, this was actually super fun. So in this video, you're going to see me use purple laces. Please remember Jinx has neon pink laces. I just didn't have any at the time, so I used purple as a placeholder. So just remember, if you're doing this, get neon pink instead of purple. And I am undoing all of these black laces to relace them. It's super simple. Now for Jinx's armour on her shoes, I just roughly cut out the pieces by drawing them on a scrap of paper, and then I cut them out of 1mm foam. Here you can see I am painting them, so one shoe has silver armour and then the other shoe has golden armour. There's loads of reference images online of Jinx, so just make sure you follow one. Now what I would recommend, which I didn't do and I really wish I did, is once you've painted them, spray them with some kind of sealant, because it comes off so easily. Every single time I wear Jinx out of the house, I have to repaint these, so really make sure that you seal them with something, because it will just really be annoying. Now with some leftover scraps of leather fabric from her top, I am using these to make the tops of Jinx's shoes. Jinx actually has these weird flappy things on her boots, so I'm just trying to emulate this with the leather material. This takes so much wriggling around, but I just kind of freehanded it and it just worked, which I was super pleased with. I really liked how this came out. This actually worked out best by cutting a rectangle. I'm just lining 2 of them together so I can cut them exactly the same in this clip. Now I am going to take all of the armour and the leather, and we're just going to be hot gluing them on. That is all there is to it. Make sure as you're gluing the armour on you allow wriggle room. This is because when you draw them flat it doesn't allow for the curved area of the shoe. So with my one I actually had to trim a lot of pieces off because I made them too big. And then I am just touching up the edges with some more golden paint. And remember to stick the back parts of the shoe on as well. So here I am gluing on the leather top half of the boot. I have to really remind everyone, when you stick this on, do not stick past the zip of your boot. That is because when you glue this onto the whole way, there will be no room for your foot to actually go in the shoe. So what I did is I just left one half unstuck. So I glue all the way up to the zip, and then when I reach the zip, I don't glue the other side. Once your foot is in the shoe, it will actually just kind of keep it there. So don't worry about this too much. And here they are with the right coloured laces. Now for this part, my camera stopped recording, so I'm just going off of photos, but I cut 2 long rectangles of the leather fabric, and then I am just screwing these studs into them. So one half is a stud and then the other half is a screw, and I make 2 rows of these. You can do however many you want, I just did 2. And then you sew it together and thread it through a belt. So this part of the video, I'm just going to be showing you how everything fits together. So this will lay on one side. You can see there's a gap in the middle where it slides onto the belt. So this belt has black suspenders, and the purple pouch is literally just a semicircle that I cut out and made a really rough pouch. I use this to keep my business cards in when I'm at the con, but I hope this video gives you some kind of idea of how everything fits together. With the belt itself, buy it one size bigger. So if you're a small, buy a medium. If you're a medium, buy a large, and so forth. And that is it. That's all there is to making this costume. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and let me know in the comments below who your favourite character from Arcane is. Mine is 100% Jinx, but I really do like Silco as well. If you're not already, please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I do take requests as well, so let me know if you have any suggestions. If you're interested, I do also have a video of how I made Jinx's zapper gun, and also my CovCon winning masquerade performance, so please be sure to watch both of those. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.